Welcome to Lessons in History with Mr. Kinman. Today, we're going to talk about the Vietnam War beginnings. I will be specifically talking about the Gulf of Tonkin resolution that happened in 1964. But before we do that, I want to give you a brief history of a couple of things. So as you can tell, we're going to be talking about the Vietnam War. This event, the Gulf of Tonkin incident, is considered one of the events that sparked the conflict in Vietnam. Let's look at where Vietnam is before we get into the conflict. So Vietnam, before it was North and South, it was one country. It was occupied by the French, but eventually, after World War II, the Soviet Union took over and controlled the North, and the United States controlled the South. But what happened? The Gulf of Tonkin resolution. Well, this ship, the USS Maddox, was in international waters just off the coast of Vietnam. And what happened was that it was fired upon and it was sunk. Shortly after that, this man, president at the time, President Johnson, created the Gulf of Tonkin resolution. Now this document, let me read part of this here to you, announced that 2 days earlier U.S. ships in the Gulf of Tonkin had been attacked by the North Vietnamese. Johnson then dispatched U.S. planes against the attackers and asked Congress to pass a resolution to support his actions. The joint resolution to promote the maintenance of international peace and security in Southeast Asia passed on August 7th with only 2 senators, Wayne Morris and Ernest Gruening, dissenting, meaning they went against it, and as a result they received much political backlash. So that's what happens, and the United States backs Johnson's formal declaration to send planes, send military support to Southeast Asia, and what they are doing, they're going to support the South Vietnamese against the North Vietnamese. Now, let's take a look at the timeline of the conflict. This is 1964, and this begins the Vietnam War. The Vietnam War lasts until 1975. Although there is never a formal declaration of war, it is called a war. And as a result, let me show you some statistics. By the end of the war, there are 536,000 troops that have been deployed to Vietnam, U.S. troops. There are over 58,000 casualties, and there are over 303,000 wounded military personnel. So again, this is the Gulf of Tonkin, started by Lyndon Johnson, 1964, and this is considered one of the events that sparks the Vietnam War. Thank you very much.